Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. Had to unfortunately not be able to go over the last two episodes of this Rings of Power series. Had some personal issues pop up, and trying to catch up now. Firstly, I gotta see if I can get certain things to work. Having a few technical difficulties on my end, and trying to sort it out. And so please forgive me for that. Let's see if it works. Of course, everything's going haywire already. Thank you. Yes. Hello from your incompetent host here. All right. Looks like we got something to work. Yay. uh, sorry. Just a bit of a headache going on with this. All right. Sorry about this. I'm trying to make sure that I'm trying some new settings with latency and stuff like that. And it's giving me a headache. And of course, I needed that. Thank you very much, Streamlabs. I need you to freeze up on me like that. Okay, well, let's go over this. Well, some are calling it an abomination. Others are calling it an absolute travesty of entertainment. And me, I don't know where I sit on it, other than it has to be some of the dumbest writing I've ever encountered in my life. I mean, it makes the people that wrote for CW on any of their shows just absolute wordsmiths, just masters of their craft compared to this. I mean, plot points just make no sense at all, but you know. So you just have to try to find entertainment in other ways. This episode had a lack of Harfoots, which a lot of people are kind of happy not to see them. Every time there's an episode that doesn't have them, they're usually people are pretty happy. Mickey Cunningham. Yeah, Fohiram. Okay. Yeah, that was that is an apt description. That was just the most bastardized version of the Ride of the Rohirrim that they could do. I mean, and the cheapness of the armor that they're using in this show, their costume budget is amongst the worst. I mean, I've seen low budget films that were put onto Sci-Fi Channel back before it became sci-fi, you know, where they changed the spelling of it, that were of higher quality. Their entire all their Dungeons and Dragons series that they showed in the old days on Sci-Fi had higher quality, and they were run on a much smaller budget, but it just looks so cheap and bad. And then, but I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than cheap. How can armor and the gladiator look so much better? This is gonna sound weird, but yeah, $1 billion down the tubes on this one. But this is gonna sound bad, but now if you're going to Russell Crowe one on just Gladiator, honestly, The armor kind of looked a lot like actual Roman armor without the whole without some of the obvious impediments that actual Roman armor had. This show, on the other hand, it looks like somebody went to a whole bunch of desperate for work people that had just got into school for costume design, and these are the F students. I mean, it's so cheap. They spent $1 billion on this, and I think it's like $60 million per episode. I don't know what they're spending the money on. Honestly, it sure as hell isn't acting, and the dialogue or the writing. Oh God, the dialogue between these people, and there's nothing to like about the way Galadriel does things. The whole character of Galadriel. I mean, tonight you got to see her turned into well, Joseph Stalin. Really, she has the same mentality that she was going to save somebody for last, while she killed off all their. Yeah, no, it's not even cliche Mediterranean costumes. It's worse than that. It's I've seen better costume work at children's plays whenever I would go watch my cousin or something whenever he was little, and I would go to one of the plays because I spent a lot of time with my uncle and aunt and my cousin, and they did much more on much smaller budget. I mean, it's half of it looks like they took like a hoodie or a sweatshirt and just decided, all right, well, we're going to take these little patches of fabric and hot glue them on there, and we're going to call it scale mail, and we're going to have it all white. So what mythical metal is this supposed to be? Is this anything like that paper armor they theorized that could be made years ago? That, well, basically parchment armor. You know, I don't know if you may or may not have saw it on History Channel. You had somebody that was testing the parchment armor that was basically a whole bunch of layers of parchment glued together. It could sort of work, sort of. It'd be like covering yourself in a phone book, but no, that probably would look better than the armor on this. And I'll say this, though. I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. Some of the makeup, the makeup and prosthetics on a handful of the orcs looks pretty decent. But you can't tell. But I saw a lot better use of money on that. I'm trying to remember the name of that show they had on Sci-Fi where people were just, they were supposed to do the different cosmetics. Face Off, that was it. Face Off. Hire one of those people. Hire one of the losers. One of the losers could do better. Hell, at this point, hire a whole bunch of those people on TikTok or whatever, or Instagram or something that think that they're making themselves look attractive by putting 10 pounds of makeup on. It still looks better than half the work on this show. But at least we get to see the final villain for the... thank you for subscribing. Nikki Cunningham. I'm sorry. I'm getting a whole bunch of delays on any notifications on my end. My Streamlabs is going nuts. It's just these people have a few screws loose on their costume design and fight choreography. Oh God, the fight. I thought last episode's fight choreography where they were doing the whole they're sparring in the town that they should have already left over in Numenor. The fight choreography got worse. I mean, at one point you had the one guy on the ground getting attacked by an orc, and he's just repeatedly chopping right over him the whole time. The guy's holding still the whole time, and they're just chopping, just over and over again. And oh, I'm waiting to see what Shadiversity says about that one. Oh, Night's Watch is going to be awesome on this one. But no, let's see. What did we get at the beginning? You finally get to see where. All right, you have towards the beginning, you get to see where the Numenorians left, and they describe how long it's going to take to get to where they're going. They were talking about how far they were going to have to sail upriver before they'd have to, and how long that would take, which was like another day. And then they were going to have to take another day's ride to get to the tower area, which actually really what happened to the tower towards the beginning means absolutely nothing, and it makes no sense. They have where Mr. Elf is there hiding, waiting for the orcs and other people, and Adar to come on in. Waits for the right time and shoots the arrow to burn the rope while jumping out and kicking off a rock that has a chain attached to a beam, so it drags that forward to pull the door closed. I'm not going to mention how it makes no sense for physics, because that would have the amount of force that was implied with the weight of the stone that was kicked off and the speed of the chunk of wood, it would have broke through the thin doors like they weren't there. But never mind that. Then you have where but because of that, the tower is so poorly constructed that all that's holding up is those little ropes. The guy shoots a flaming arrow at a pulley, and as soon as the rope breaks, the tower starts to collapse. For reasons. Because that's how towers are built, to where one rope is all it takes to hold it up. I mean, this is just... This show hurts me. It really hurts me. The show is... Honestly, this is going to sound weird. As much as I hate the Harfoots, they're probably the worst creatures ever. They have made hobbits into the most evil creatures that have ever existed. And yet, I am having more fun laughing at the evil that is them and the sheer stupidity that goes around the writing when it involves them. Like the whole... So they talk about nobody walks alone and stuff like that. Yet they talk about the people they just leave behind. They talk about they have this little ceremony at some points occasionally before a migration. It says, "Oh, we wait for you." Yeah, that's why they just left them in the field to die. Because oh look, they sprained their ankle even though we got carts. No, who cares about them? They can stay there and die. We're not going to carry them along on our carts. In the last episode, you get right out the gate, and just some guy, he had it absolutely spot on whenever he said that clearly it's something they've done to others before, where the one lady walks up and says, "Take their wheels and leave them." Wow. So these and the way they said it shows that they're just concentrated evil. There's nothing good. There's not one redeeming quality amongst them. Just like many other characters, there's not one redeeming quality amongst them. You have still have found no value in Galadriel, the now admitted genocide lady. Yes, she's going to go the way of Joseph Stalin, who had the same approach to the Russian soldiers that didn't want to be returned from England because they found that they had a nice life going in England. And so after threatening war with England, England, of course, loaded up the poor Russian soldiers on transport ships to send back to Russia, and Stalin had the boats torpedoed in the middle of the ocean and killed them all. That's her method. And the worst part is, and at the same time he was saying this, there were several officers in Russia that were trying to defend the people that were over there, and he waited to gulag them until after he killed all those people and made them know he was doing it. Unfortunately, that's a thing about learning history. You learn about some rather horrible people. But anyways, back to the show that makes no sense. Okay. Goes through, shoots the rope tower, collapses on those within inside the walls around the tower. The people from the village, the ones that stayed in the tower while the others left, they decided to, before they happened, they got the hell out of there far enough away that they could watch this. Then they decided, well, we're going to go back to our town that has already been raided, or there's really no defense there, and we're going to mount some sort of defense because the orcs are going to come back again. Now, so you go from a completely defensible place, if you used your head. I mean, you had the path to get to the tower is a bottleneck already. So you could have fought for at least a little while. You could have bought some time. You could have fortified it and defended it, but you didn't. You left that, and instead of, because they had not realized that you left, although I'm sure as soon as they got up there, considering you had lanterns going, I'm pretty sure that if nothing else, Adar the elf could have seen at a distance the lanterns and know where you're going. But why you went back to the town, God only knows. Should have run the hell off. But you go back there, you set up a defense. You give this little speech of, oh boy, you're going to live through this if you just fight like this. Yeah. It's just, the show. And then you have, all right, the sword hilt, which, yay for it. A thing comes up later in the episode. There's a whole point in the sword hilt. Now, mind you saw it in the last episode, the mural on the wall that shows the sword and everything. So you know its purpose. You know that that you can't tell me in all the time they spent up there, they didn't figure out well, hey, if you stick the sword here, things will happen. So why they didn't jam that up, God only knows. That would have made sense. Fill it with cement or something. Even back then, you could make concrete of sorts. Not like they didn't know how to do it. Hell, if they didn't want to do that, they could have just poured molten metal down it. Let it cool. But it's just in many ways this is a chore to go through. I'm trying to find things to enjoy, but action other than the fight choreography being awful, action was sort of mediocre, but the way things are done is so stupid that there's just I'm having a hard time finding a redeeming quality of this show. All right, next episode we get back to dwarves, which are probably the only characters that I can really tolerate, even though you had the magical line in the last episode when talking about where you had Durin saying, give me the meat and give it to me raw. Yeah, that was special writing there. Yeah, I should be really proud of that. But, I'm honestly, I've gone 22 minutes into this. And I've watched it, and I didn't take any notes because there was really nothing to note. You have a Wish.com version of the Charge of the Rohirrim that came to save the villagers after a good chunk of them had been already slaughtered again, over a hilt that, mind you, the elf had decided to go hide from everybody without telling everybody where he was hiding it. That's smart, at least. So he'd be the only one to know. And then you have where the orcs get in there, they get a hold of them. Kid goes there, says, "Oh, it's here." Hands it to them just as the Numenorians arrive, which just the dumbest charge I've seen in a while. But you have that. Adar runs off with the care package, which he didn't even check to make sure is really what he was after. All he knows is, oh, look, it's something that they want. But then again, this will tell you the specialness of it in a moment. They have Galadriel, Warrior Princess, still needs her. She still needs her chakra, or whatever it is that Xena used to carry and yell, "Ay, ay, ay, ay," as she charges things, but she doesn't have that yet. Apparently, she gained the Force, unlike any other elf in existence, because she can magically hang off the horse at exactly the right times. Even at times that shouldn't make sense, when she's already pre-hanging before, in one scene, she's pre-hanging before the spear or whatever it was or javelin gets thrown at her. So that made absolutely no damn sense. But she goes after Adar, so does, well, some put it as discount Aragorn, as far as Halbrand. I say it's a pathetic discount version of wannabe Sauron on the way he is trying to fake being good. But he goes off behind her, chases her, and this is another part that makes no sense. Galadriel had a hell of a lead on Halbrand, and so did Adar. Now, she is getting close to him. Is getting close to Adar. Somehow, Halbrand magically teleports his horse an unknown distance ahead of where they're running. Just magically teleports up there, and is coming back the other direction, trips the horse that Adar's on. Galadriel just magics herself off temporarily, while Halbrand is going to, after Halbrand stabs Adar in the hand, asks if he remembers who he was, and is about to stab him in the throat with the spear whenever Galadriel stops him. I need him. For what? He could tell me where. He ain't gonna tell you nothing. And we saw already he hates being called Sauron, much less what he wanted in the previous episode. Much less would he tell you anything, but she doesn't know that, and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to be generous with it, but it's just. But at no point do they check for the hilt in this wrapping. And anyways, they get him back. They interrogate. Galadriel's interrogating him. She goes to do her thing and stab him for reasons instead of letting him watch all of his people die, who he said deserved the right to live just as much as any other living creature when talking about the orcs, which, okay. I think they're trying to make a sympathetic villain out of it. I don't know. But anyways, it's just, I don't get it. I just don't get how the writers come to this the way they are. It is some of the most piss poor writing out there. On just, it took you to episode 6 to pick up pacing any at all. It took you episode 4 and 5 to finally, even though you decided in 4 you were going to sail to Middle Earth, you didn't in 5. No. You have to discuss it again in 5 before leaving for Middle Earth at the end of 5. Time passes in an unknown way because, quite frankly, you get no scope of how time works, even though they're all this is supposed to be going on at the same time. You have apparently dwarves and elves are the fastest builders known to exist, because they were able in a 2-day period build the first 60 feet of a tower, of a giant tower that is going to turn into a forge. Yay. But you have no scale of time in the show. You have people that, quite frankly, should not get along at all. Their personalities make no sense. I mean, you completely assassinated Galadriel's character. This is just. I'm rooting for Sauron at this point. Considering how things are progressing and everything, they have just justified why Sauron was right to give out the rings and decide to try to control people. because anything has to be better than living under these psychopaths that are being presented as the good guys. I mean, if you look at how it works, Morgoth was basically an agent of chaos, as it were, with his method of, if I can't create life, I will just destroy it all. And he's like the spoiled child that didn't get his way, so he's going to destroy everything. Sauron, on the other hand, his motivations were originally he really wanted to. He didn't have a hatred towards any group of people or anything. He really did. Yeah, he did his share of destruction and killing and stuff, but generally he wanted to dominate life, wanted to rule over life, not destroy all life like Morgoth. But or Gladriel at this point, because good lord, she's just as bad. I mean, this is just amongst the. I've seen crap out there, and I mean a lot of crap shows and stuff like that. The writing in this is making Star Trek Discovery look good, and I hate Star Trek Discovery with a passion. That is one of the worst shows ever created. Not the worst show. I can't even say Star Trek Picard is the worst show ever created. I am having a really hard time with the top slot of either the Netflix Cowboy Bebop, the live action Cowboy Bebop they did, that god awful abomination, which I think I'd rather have a prostate exam from King Kong than ever watch that again. Or Star Trek Lower Decks. I mean, it's hard to choose what one's worse. I mean, this show does not rate at the worst show made, although some could say. This show, I've found a different form of entertainment in it. As bad as the writing is, as bad as the choreography is, and as lackluster as the visuals for the amount of money that they spent on this, as terrible as the costume design is, considering the amount of money they spent on this, as terrible as the some of the CG is terrible. All this mounts up. As terrible as it is, I can still find some entertainment in just laughing at how bad it is at times. Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, there's nothing to laugh at. They should be, the people that make it should be ridiculed and scorned. No, not harassed, just if somebody doesn't like the show, go out there and voice your opinion on a review of the show or something like that, or do a stream like this. Actually, do it better than me, because I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. But all right, let's get back to this. All right, because I got sidetracked. Okay. Well, anyways, the whole point is Adar's after the hilt, so he can, and he doesn't exactly explain why he wants the hilt so bad. The old guy from the previous episode has the hilt because reasons. It doesn't say how he got a hold of it, whether or not It doesn't say how he found it, considering the elf supposedly hid it. I'm guessing the elf is a traitor and handed it over. Who knows? They are not very specific. Anyways, the elf takes the old guy takes out the hilt, feeds it some blood so it grows into a full blown sword. He's back at the tower where he was. That is supposed to be the whole area around it is supposed to be completely covered in rubble, where the tower collapsed upon it, but it's magically crystal clear and safe for him to walk in. Shoves it in a hole, shoves it in a nice designated slot in the ground, turns it like a key, just so it could open up floodgates for a dam that link to the. Which, mind you, this is another thing that makes no sense. Now, before all this, you had the orcs digging trenches and digging passageways. Now, one could say it was because they were trying to stay out of sunlight, because reasons, but that sunlight can hurt them and kill them. But why on God's green earth would they know that, okay, if we dig this particular way, do it this way, get all the trenches and stuff dug, we get this hilt. It acts as a key to open certain floodgates and stuff. Which, why it was built, why anybody would you're talking about a thing that had to be hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. This tower and this floodgates. So they open it, and it's pre-known that they're going to do this all these years in advance for the water to break free, go through the tunnels, and apparently by going into Mount Doom set it off from below, even though, mind you, the holes to go into Mount Doom would have killed the orcs that were trying to get there, or anything else that was trying to get there would have been barbecued the moment that they breached the chamber for the magma chamber. They would have been absolutely barbecued. But anyways, yeah, they do that. Water blows up some things, and blows up the holes that were covered as far as defense, because they were by the village, that were covered up by the villagers as defense, thinking the orcs were going to take that path again to come and attack them. Water flows into the magma, and explosion! The Mount Doom erupts. And the preview for next episode is Galadriel in her Chester Cheetah outfit. Either there, we're going to find out that Chester Cheetah is actually Sauron. Nobody else. You're going to see this orange cheetah with sunglasses popping out with a thing of Cheetos, and that is actually Sauron. That's a caliber of writing we're dealing with. The show's a chore. And of course, the previews for next week, you're going to have the Harfoots again, which, you know, some people are going to complain because, well, basically any episode without Harfoots in it is a better episode. I'm one of those that they are so damn evil. I want to see how much more evil they can be. I mean, they're already dumb. I mean, Nori is just beyond biblically dumb, okay? In terms of dumb, hey, don't look back, otherwise you'll be turned into a pillar of salt. She would have been staring that direction the whole time, waiting to be told that. And still kept looking after being told. Ooh, what's salt going to do to me? Yeah. Yes, you get turned into a condiment. But anyways, um, yeah, we got what, 2 episodes left in the season. I mean, it finally picked up. You finally get some action because, good God, has everything up to this point been boring as hell. But it is dumb. It is just blatantly dumb. I can't even complain about lore anymore because, quite frankly, there is nothing Tolkien made that is in this. I can't even say Galadriel is Tolkien made anymore. This is just somebody that usurped the name to bastardize his work. I mean, this show is clearly written by people that hate everything that Tolkien made. That's the only thing I can say. They'll talk about their love. They'll profess their love for Tolkien. No. You can't do something like this and say you actually love the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. You have to absolutely despise every word that he ever uttered. These are the people that were probably still burning old Webster's dictionaries because he used to write for them. You have to really, really hate something this bad. I mean, if you didn't care about it, you probably could have made a better show. You literally have to hate something so intensely to make it this bad. You have to hate everything it stood for to make it this bad. And I'm not getting. I mean, it was. I mean, if I get some like Nikki Cunningham or anybody else that decides to pop into the stream, that is the most valuable thing out of this to me because it's the most entertaining part. Just conversations with people on it. Because, well, if I'm not on here, I am talking to other people if they're watching. I mean, I got a few people that probably hate me right now because I made them watch this. I got a different friend that won't watch it at all, and I kind of agree with her on her reasoning. She said that she has limited hours of human life, so she has limited hours of life. So why waste it on this whenever she could spend it on other things that may be good or bad? It's like the Quantum Leap series. I hear a lot of people complaining about it. It's only 2 episodes in, and the first episode really doesn't hook you. It really doesn't. The second episode, it doesn't do much better on hooking you, but the second episode is better than the first episode. But the big problem with that is Quantum Leap, the original one, is probably my favorite show ever made. But it was lightning in a jar. You are never going to get that again, no matter how hard you try. And I don't think they're trying to catch lightning in a jar again. I think they're just trying to catch a lightning bug. And who knows? I'm not going to give up on the series. It may turn out good. It's far more entertaining than this. I can actually recommend watch that over this. You may not like it, but at least the writing is better. At least there's points of entertainment in it. But I'm not giving up on this show either. Why? Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I want it to be better. I want it to be good. That's all I've wanted all along. Is I've wanted this whole thing to be good before it ever came out. I didn't. Yeah, did I see the writing on the wall with the statements of the different showrunners and directors, producers, writers, actors, actresses, all that? Did I see the writing on the wall? Yeah. But that doesn't mean I didn't still hold out hope. And that doesn't mean that it can't still happen, that you can't make, I don't know how you're going to polish the turd that is Galadriel. That character's permanently hosed unless there's a miracle that comes out where in the Battle of Cheeto Dust she gets smacked in the head with a big rock and gets amnesia, and then they completely wipe her character into something different. But even then, that'd be a long shot. We couldn't be blessed with that because she's to be flawless in every way. She can do no wrong. Her motivations, no matter how wrong and evil they are instantly good and pure. I mean, honestly, I was thinking about going over the previous two episodes and this episode, but nothing happened in the previous two episodes. Literally, nothing happens in this show. Nothing happens of merit. Nothing happens of value. Oh boy, you get a visual here and a visual there, and you get to find out that the Harfoots are evil. Yay. That's about it. It's pathetic writing at its best, god-awful writing at its worst. The costumes are cheap and sad. I mean, really sad. Some of it, like Shadiversity even pointed out, you can tell that they didn't even add anything to it. They just printed a design onto fabric. You know, something you can go to a t-shirt shop down in most malls now, even if you got one near you, or some shops, or you can just order it on Teespring or something. You can have it done. I mean, and it doesn't even look like they paid much for it. It looks cheap. It doesn't even look good. I mean, I honestly don't know where the $1 billion went. I don't know where any was it an embezzling scheme? Because there's no way there's no way in hell this was $60 million per episode. No way in hell. Hell, with the budget they could be running, they could be doing this off of maybe $500,000, and that's only because of the camera equipment and location fees. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just, I'm hoping the next episode is better. I really am. It has to be. Anything has to be. I'm glad action picked up. I hope that wasn't the last of the action we get for the rest of the season. Because it probably is. I wish it wasn't. But, you know, that's how this goes. But I don't think I can really push much further. I want to, but maybe next week I can push. Hopefully next week I'll be more enthusiastic. I mean, there are characters that are completely irredeemable, but does that mean there is no hope that they can maybe salvage something of this dumpster fire? Maybe they can do something with it, but whenever a major focus of the show is on a couple characters, and these couple characters are the worst people ever, you're screwed. But well, anyways, well, I definitely, once again, thank you again, Nikki Cunningham, for subscribing. I thank you very much. I'll try to have a better stream next week. I had some difficulties getting it going this week, but next week I definitely will try to have it running more smoothly. I'm going to be watching that. I don't know why I'm doing it, because I've heard nothing but bad things, and the trailer did not give me any hope. That Rob Zombie Monsters movie he made, which I love the monsters. I really do. It's a tough choice between, now, out of the original shows, it's a tough choice between the monsters and the Addams Family. They were both really good. I think in some ways I kind of like I like the monsters a little bit more, I guess, in some ways. But you know, so I don't know if it's going to be any good. That was another thing I hoped was good, but the trailer just was god awful looking on the one on the full trailer they released. But I'm going to give it a shot in the next couple days, and yeah, maybe it'll be worth it. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll surprise me. As a matter of fact, I hope it surprises me. But anyways, well, I thank you all very much. I thank everyone very much for watching. I hope you have a pleasant evening, day, or whatever it is for you. And I will see you in the next stream, or I may even do a video this week. I don't know if I can sort things out for it, but I will definitely try to do something. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very, very much for subscribing. I do absolutely appreciate that. And please consider liking. I mean, I probably did a crap job compared to every other reviewer, and I'm really sorry about that. But I guess I'm just lost enthusiasm, and there's no excuse for that. But I'm sorry, but I am trying to do better. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, listening, and I will see you in the next video.